Good morning. So this should be in the description for this video. Let me check real quick. Okay. So, just a reminder. Hey, Immortal. Good morning. For anyone that's interested in following along, after each day I'll upload or update the repo with the previous day's work. So if you guys want to follow along, check it out, mess around with it, feel free. You'll have the latest, so you'll be up to date with everything. You can go through, like I said, you can mess with it and you can work on it yourself if you want to, add stuff to it, I don't care. Let's see, so from yesterday, we got some shooty shoots happening. Working on the entity component system, so we've made a bullet entity group that have the components to declare what a bullet should do. We have different input states happening, we have collisions. So I think today what I'm going to work on is getting the bullets to interact with the world. So we have these colliding objects here. Should be very straightforward. And also we'll have to do like rate of fire, because right now it's 60 frames a second or 16 milliseconds what we're hitting. And for each frame we're shooting a bullet. So, hey GLDev. Are they now disappearing when they go out of render? No, they are living on forever. I don't even know if... You probably can't even see them. I don't know, I can't see them. They're going too fast. And also, yeah. But that's something we'll focus on as well. So if they go out of view of the camera, we'll destroy them. Yeah. I was also thinking about spatial partitioning, how we might handle that, if it's even necessary, because again, most likely the game is going to be in focus pretty close. So it might be something like this. All right, this is more or less what the original looked like in terms of what you can see visibly. And there's really not too many collisions that could possibly be happening just within this space. I mean, I'm not going to have so many that we're going to be worried about having to chunk up the world. Very, very little is going to be persistent outside of what we can immediately see, right? Now, if we want to go beyond that and maybe extend the game to include something like that, then maybe we could. How would you go about destroying them? Fairly simple. We'll just check the bounds of the camera, and we'll check the AABBs for the entities, and if they go beyond that for a bullet, we'll kill them. So we'll check that in the update loop for the bullets. I've also moved shooting down into the player update, so the input update. My brain's acting a little slow right now, so that's why I've got coffee. I apologize. But this is starting to come along now. I mean, it's going to start picking up a little bit, I think, because we're putting down the framework for this to get faster, right? So we have this entity system that's set up already. Did that in a day. Didn't take long. And again, this just goes to show how far you can get with just a really simple entity system. You don't need to do any of this complex shit that, you know, people who are advocates of OOP will tell you that you need. And, you know, you can do it in, what, 50 lines of code? Not even. You can do a lot. All right, so we have adding a bullet into our entity group. Here's our update. So in our update, we need to do a couple things. So we need to define the bounding region for a bullet, which we need to do that down here inside of the rigid body. When we add one, yeah. I believe the rigid body component has, yeah, the axis. Yeah, it has the bounding box. Okay, so we'll do that first. Let me look and see how I was doing that for the player, because I think it's dependent on the player scale, which might be an issue. Let me see. Yeah, so we get the players. Let's see, length of the scale for the transform of the player. So I kind of want to abstract this out and just do Let me think about this for a second. Oh no, it's I'm actually holding that scale. It's interesting. Let me see what happens if I don't need to do this. So that X form instead of that X transform. Rigid body. Yeah, we're doing that, so. Okay. So I think that will. So I'm going to strip all this out here in a second and clean it up. I just want to verify that this is actually going to work. I think I'm going to need the player's scale because everything is being scaled by the player to make sure that they're all the same size in world space. But let's see what this does. This bounding box is probably going to be wrong. But we'll see. So we've created that. Let's go ahead and debug draw for each of the bullets. So this is for collision objects. We'll do this for bullets. Okay. So the entity ID. Is the ith index. And we want, this, where we're gonna get, let's see. So we want the rigid body component. And we can get the entity group. So we want to get our entity group for our bullets. Just grab that real quick. Actually, I can do that up here. Okay. And then for this, bullets, rigid bodies, and we're going to use the ID. Your coworkers know about the streams. Yeah, one of the guys shows up for these every once in a while. Yeah, so my days usually go, I'll wake up, work out, work for the morning, and then I'll take a lunch and do this stream and then go back to work. It's usually how this is worked out. And then work till about 7. So we've got the rigid body component. We want to grab we have that, and then we'll just draw the bounding box. Perfect. So I think because I'm not scaling it, scale factor, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna hold that inside of the context. Well, actually, do I have? Not seeing it. Oh, I'm not updating these. Alright, so yeah, I'm gonna have to do this. Damn. Surely I should just do this in the update. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything here. It's not much more than you do in C++ or anything else. Seriously. Not seeing. Okay, so I'm not in there at all. Why am I not in here? Oh, shit. Okay. Huh. Yeah, that would be why. So why? I'm also a millennial. That being said, I understand the I understand the dislike of millennials. Let's see. All right, chat. I'm not seeing the bounding coordinates because these are nans, meaning that our division is messed up somewhere. So we got to figure out what's going on. Let's see. I need a group update. I mean, I think certainly higher level languages are good for certain things. Like if I was going to do data scraping in order to do like data analysts, right? I wouldn't necessarily want to use C for that unless I had a custom library that I had written in order to do web scraping and be able to quickly go through tons of data, which in that case, C actually would be better than something like Python because just how much slower an interpreted language is than a compiled language. But for ease of use, if you didn't want to have to spend the time writing your own library to do those kinds of things, then Python has a really good standard library that just comes out of the box. So that being said, any language that forces me to do certain indentation, or the compiler or the interpreter yells at me, I won't use. Can't stand it. All right, so let me verify that this is all right. See if I'm getting. Okay, so those are still. Still have a NAND. That should be fine, but there's something with the model matrix that's messed up. What am I missing? What's the width and the height of mine? I mean, I can't imagine this is messed up, but. So 5 pixels and 5 pixels should be right. Let's see, 31, yep. And 31 to, yep. So it's about 5.5, so at least that's right. So the scale of the object, let's just not do this. Electros Snake asks, hello, what compiler are you using? Good morning, and I'm using MSPC for this. Okay. What the hell? What the hell? I was not expecting this issue. Can you show exactly how you link to OpenGL? So this is my batch file for compiling. If you want to link to OpenGL, you'll need to link to certain operating system libraries that are going to be available. So this is the one that links to OpenGL on MSVC or on Windows. If you look in the description for the video, by the way, I have the repo for this entire project. So if you want to go through there and look through it, you're more than welcome to. Also, it's worth noting, I don't think I've seen you here before, Electric Snake, but this is my own framework that I'm using. So it's built on top of another framework called Gunslinger, which is this entire thing. Which has a lot of utility and capability built into it. It's very similar to Raylib. So there's something up with this. Let me just print out this transform. Dean asks, is Gunslinger your custom framework? Yeah, it is. So any of the videos that you guys might have recently watched, like the sand simulation video, the Noida thing, or the binary serialization video, any of that stuff, it's using this framework. Alright, so my rotation's messed up. Why is my rotation messed up? When did that ever get swapped to something? And also my scale's nothing. Why? When did that get messed up? Because this is a default. Alright, so something funky's going on. For now, we're gonna go ahead and just set these. That's not good. What the hell? Why is that like that? That's not a default quaternion. Okay, so I'm not setting it like that, so I don't know why this is... Huh. There. Now I'm getting accurate. Yes, I don't know why that's getting... Alright, so there we go. So that was weird. For some reason, something's getting set somewhere where my... oh yeah, and all these prints are going to start killing the frame rate. Something's getting set to where all of my information for rotation and scale for these were getting messed up. I don't even know where that was happening. Go ahead. Tell you what, I know I'm going to need this in the future, so we're going to make a utility real quick. Okay, so now we have bounding boxes around our bullets. Still printing shit. What am I printing? It was right there. We're updating those. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, but again, like I was saying before, everything is scaled by the player's scale. So everything, all this is respect to the player. And so right now I'm not doing that. This quad that we're using is actually, the bounding box quad is way too large. So we're gonna have to reduce that. Let's see, by the player scale factor. Which is this. Pretty sure. No, it's not 1. We need it by player scale factor. So they're a little tiny, but it's probably really hard to see for you guys. But you can kind of see there's white bounding areas, so it's a little small actually. So maybe not quite this. So the player scale factor is 1/68, but it's a little small. So if we do 1/, let's do 60. I'm fudging numbers here. Let's do 40. Looks a little better. Of course, we could do these as circles instead, which that might be what we want to do. But let me go grab some more coffee real quick. Okay. So now that we have this, let's get it to collide with the world. So now we have all the information we need. All right, so we're updating bounding box areas. So we actually are going to need the world context information. So let me go ahead and put this. So our context will have just a series of collision objects, and we're just going to run through those. Actually, the player does that, so we can just use the way the player does it and just change a few things. So this might get out of hand, but what we're going to do, so this is where things can get a little crazy, because we're going to end up having to do we're going to need to keep a list of handles to destroy. Okay, which we'll go ahead and make this a set number. We'll do, well, I guess, well, no, you have to do a set size. So we'll just say we're only going to be able to look at 1,000 at a time. And then we'll mem set all of that to 0. Okay. And then as we're iterating through our bullet entities, what we're going to do is that if we collide against something in the world, okay, we don't care about getting the MTV, we don't care about changing this, we don't care about that. This is just if a collision occurs. Then all we're going to do is set a handle to destroy. And the reason for this is that as we're iterating through, we can't delete from this array or we invalidate the iterator. So we are going to, let's see, handles to destroy at handle index equals I. Which actually I'm going to need to change this. I think I have a 4-range J. Yeah. And now that we've done that, we're done iterating through all the bullets. Now we're going to iterate through all of this, all the handles. ID equals handles to destroy at handle index. No, at I. And now we're going to destroy the bullets from the context. Hey, Uniday. What time is it for you, Uniday? I always show up. It seems like it's pretty late for you. So, entity group remove. So we erase oh wow, it's pretty late. Need to remove the ID from our handles. So we'll need to iterate through handles, find index of ID, swap and pop with back. Okay. free this weekend? No, I'm not, unfortunately. My weekends have been super busy. That would be cool, but I don't have a full weekend to devote to something like that, unfortunately. Range I. I think I could swap and pop. I think I have that. No, did I not make that? I sure didn't. I should have done that. Oh. So the way you do this is we'll store the index that we're interested in. We're gonna set that to okay, and then all we do is we just pop the back. Not that. That should be all we need to do to remove. I guarantee you this is not going to work first time, because it never does. Okay. Yeah, so now we've done this. Unity group remove. Bullets, right? So we're gonna remove and then the ID that we want to remove is this. Okay. Let's see, first let's see if this compiles. Now I'm gonna have to It's not really necessary, but. Problem, I need group remove bullet T. The group and then the ID. Let's do group remove T group ID ID. We're doing invalid erase here. Okay, that's not good. All right, so let's not hold down the button. That's going to make this more difficult. Let's just press. Interesting. So I think whenever it has more than one to go through, it's shit in the bed. Yeah. So why would that be the case? probably in here. Yeah, I was trying to remove it twice, and I think that's because when it's doing this, so I'm setting it back here, which is not what I want to do. That's good. Yeah, so if I don't remove that at all, so what would this look like? So we have 0 and we have 1. We decided that this needs to be deleted, this needs to be deleted. So it swaps these, so this is now 1, 1, and then it pops the back. So why is this set to 0 here? Oh man, what am I missing? So in the case of just 1, we remove that. Do this again. So we remove the 0 with 1. Index is 0, the back is 1. So after I swap these, what do I get? Back. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, see there, and it's trying to remove 0. Oh, god damn it. Wait, no, that should be I. Handle to destroy I. No, 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 not that. It's bullets and entities at I. There we go. Okay, so now where I told you it wouldn't work the first time. So now we should be able to okay. So collision looks off. So that's an issue. But we are colliding with the world. Let me actually do let's separate these a little more. And learn that. Okay. So I need to collide with the floor, and then whenever the bullets go out of frame. Okay. So for the floor, when you actually define an ABBB for the floor, no. Which really should be, let's see, what's ground level? Should be 0, right? Yeah. So if I do the debug UI, where I'm actually drawing the ground, yeah, here it is. Okay, so I don't care about this. I just care about this. And then we'll add that. Okay. So now, shit. Why C, not C++? I don't like C++. Everything that I need to do in C++ I can do in C, and I don't have to worry about all the bloated garbage that comes with C++. So that's interesting. Yeah, it's just for the IMGUI stuff, but I'm still writing everything as if it was in C. So yeah, it's compiling in C++, but I'm not going to use, you won't see me use any C++ standard library stuff. I won't use any classes. I won't be using templates. You could rip out all the IMGUI stuff and then throw this into a C compiler and it'll compile for C. So we are not hitting this, which is fascinating. Why are we not hitting this? Below, that should be hitting. Unless this should, these are backwards. No, damn, Yeah, I actually prefer nuclear, but I'm not as comfortable with nuclear UI. I love your code style. Thank you. It's pretty straightforward. I don't capitalize anything. That's pretty much it. So we're not colliding with the floor. I don't know what the hell's going on with this. And also, I want to make sure Contra bring up good childhood memories. Yeah, I played it as a kid. What's the issue with this? I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I've not figured it out. I mean, a simple way to do this would be that if the min corner, so I don't have to check this, it's just if the min corner goes below, or the max corner rather, goes below the ground level, then we consider it to be colliding with the ground. So yeah. So there it goes. I don't know why this wasn't working. Strange, but I'm not going to worry about it. And now we need to check to see if we're out of frame. So for this, we're actually going to have to do a little bit of projection. Because we have the object in world space, we need it in camera space to know if we've gone beyond. So we're going to have to... You're a pro by using Sublime Text. I'm set in my ways and I refuse to change. So checking for out of frame, we should unproject from, well, we're in world space, so we need to actually project into view space, then see if we go out of bounds. So actually we can get the, I have a function, a utility function up above, yeah, the window coordinates. So we'll just use this, and if the window coordinates go beyond the window screen size, then we're out of bounds. So we'll just delete the entity. There's different ways to do this. You can actually check to see if there's any collision outside of it, but we don't want the thing to be deleted as soon as it goes outside. So if any point or any part of the window or any part of the entity is inside of the window, we're going to let it stay alive. But as soon as it goes out of range completely of the field of view, then we're going to delete it. Ah, man. Check for out of frame. So the bullet chords or the window chords. And we're going to pass in the camera. And then we also want the window coordinates. So this gives us just the bounding box for this. We also want the window coordinates. I don't think I have up here. I have the platform. So that gives us the window size of the main window. And we're going to check against the window coordinates. Good morning, Dindy. And so if object is completely out of frame, then we'll delete. So for this, let's just draw a picture. So if this is our window and we have a bullet that's like this, we want to check to see if this corner and this corner are beyond the bounds of the window, right? So actually we'll define two new yeah, we'll define a new AABB and just see if there's any collision. If there's a collision, then we're going to allow this to stay. If there's no collision, then we're going to delete it. Hopefully that makes sense. Right, so we're in window space. I'm drawing with a mouse, by the way. Gorgeous. So we're in window space for all of our calculations here. So we have the window coordinates. Window, and then we have our bullet. Bullet. And all we're going to do is just do, again, this AABB versus AABB. And if this returns false, that means that this guy is outside of the window somewhere, right? If he's inside of it, then that's going to return a collision response. And if he's on the edge, it'll return a collision response. It's only when he's on the outside that we know that we're passed. So what we're going to do is create a window AABB. And that goes from 0, 0 to the window coordinates. And then if we don't get a collision response between, actually we need to create a new one for this. And the min is bc.x, bc.y, the max z and w. So if we don't get a collision, then we're going to kill him. And it's just this. Which actually we can just do this. Okay. All right, I think that'll work. Actually go check. Yeah, so as soon as they leave the frame, they're now being deleted from the list. See that? All right. Now if I keep zooming out, but as soon as they leave it, then okay. Easy peasy. So now we're colliding with the world. So any of these collision objects, and then as soon as they go out of frame, then they get deleted as well. So now there's no reason for us to be concerned about too much going on, at least with bullets. So. You'll notice one thing is whenever I'm running, the velocity of the rounds look correct. They kind of have the same arc as the gun does, but as soon as I run into another object, they shift a little bit. That's just because the way the velocity is being updated based on the player's position and velocity. So I'm going to have to change that a little bit, but it's not that big of a concern. Okay. So, a couple things next. Whenever the player fires, zoom in. So whenever the player starts firing in the game, I was checking it earlier, there's a animation to where he actually jumps back and forth, and we're not doing that here. There's no visual indication other than the rounds that he's firing, so to add that feedback, we'll add that. Same thing when he's on the ground. Even when he's running, there's a little bit of difference. There's also we can call it a particle effect, just right in front of the gun. It's just the muzzle flash, so that's not there. Whenever the rounds hit something, there's probably particle effects. What else? Audio, we don't have any audio yet, so we'll start adding that pretty soon. And then we need to just start designing enemies. Also for the rounds, well, there's one thing we need you're shooting too much, right? So we're just doing it. So we need to check here. So let's check rate of fire there. Also, it'll be cool once we start doing like homing missiles. That'll be interesting, because those different weapons are all in here. So the spread gun, the homing missiles, the laser. Be interesting stuff. Check rate of fire. So, one way to do this is you can do something like this. The only issue is rate of fire. I don't know what this could be. Let's do like 5. So every 5 frames will fire. The only issue with this is that the timer is not being reset. So whenever you click, you want to make sure that the player gets an immediate response, but this is set to just a universal clock, and we don't want to do that. So what you want to do is if not firing, then reset the clock. Okay, and then you want to check to see if the mouse is released. Pretty sure that's the thing. Yeah. Then you stop firing. So if not firing, firing equals true. Which I think we could put it in there. Or if you're not firing, And we'll set into there. Now every single time that I press it, it should start because it restarts that count, but we're limiting the rate of fire to be like every 5 frames it'll fire instead of 1. I don't even know, and if we wanted to decrease this, we could do every 2 frames. You know, I'm not sure how much the original has, but that's the kind of thing where you put it in like a config file and start messing with it. Dindy is writing your whole program in main, a common practice in C. It's a common practice that I do. I'll do it until I get to a point where I want to start ripping stuff out, and that's just because it makes it easier for me to be able to get something up and going really quickly, sketch it all out, and then once I'm happy that a certain thing is acting the way that I want it to, or just the file becomes ridiculously large, then I'll start stripping stuff out. I think it looks pretty good. So we're getting interesting. Here's another thing that needs to be fixed. If I rescale the window, then the frame buffer isn't getting changed, so I'm gonna have to just recreate that frame buffer. It's easy enough, but I'm not worried about it right now. I don't know. What do y'all think? I think it's starting to look pretty good. But I think that's really all that I wanted to focus on today. Just kind of doing these collisions. You want to see something real goofy? You won't see them. They'll just be stacked on top of each other. Never mind. Well, you can do it. Hold on. Yeah, and that's in debug too. The compilation time. Nothing. Add bo.x to bo.y. Oh. I want to scale by this. bo.x be the offset. GS effect to scale by I plus 1. There we go. Like a railgun. Every frame. There we go. Yes. probably print out how many I'm actually doing. Late again, and I'm actually about to go. Sorry, PMA. No. Again, I'm compiling this in debug. I wonder what it's like. Let's do without any debug information. Yeah, this will take a second to compile. Let's see. At what point does it start to shit the bed? All right, so a little over 10,000 is when it starts to complain. So we're at about 16,000 entities. But this is every single frame that I'm holding down. It's shooting out 100 bullets. And then here's the amount of bullets that are actually on the screen. What is my... Where's Contra? So we're at 61 meg. All right. Yeah, and I'm streaming too, so I know that's hitting it. But again, this is also without any optimization in terms of collision checks, because right now what I'm doing is for each of these, here, I'll clear these. For each of these bullets, it's going through every single collision object that's in the world, so all of these. So it's running through every single one of those. So it's an n squared thing. We're not actually chopping up the world in any way. Here we go with the Win 7 explanation. Yeah, I don't like Windows 10. Windows 7 was perfect, and Windows 10 is spyware. Yeah, this is working pretty well, so I'm happy with this. If you subbed a while ago, it's either because of the engine videos that I did. Rate of fire. Let's go crazy. Most people are confused. I mean, I understand it, because the misconception is that if you're running Windows 7, then you're just going to run into a bunch of security issues. It's like anytime I go on the internet, I sandbox everything, so I'm not putting anything on my machine. Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted. Huh. Yeah, the thing that takes the longest to compile is IMGUI. It takes forever. Okay, so we do run into an issue if I try to do too many entities spawned at once, which is interesting. I'm not sure why that would be the case. Yeah, I'm gonna check online. So that's something I'm gonna have to debug. It might be something, yeah. It's gotta be something in the, I mean, adding the entities, right? So anything past this and it freaks out. I'm not sure why that would be the case. Yeah, all right, so hit a limit. Oh. All right, guys, I think that's it for today. I got done what I really kind of wanted to, so I'll chill for a second, answer questions, and then end the stream. Are you going to implement the whole thing up to the first boss? That's the idea. Do the whole first level. Which seems like it's a lot, but really a lot of this was just groundwork stuff. Once we get more of the components kind of defined, we can place things in the level really easily. It's really just gonna kind of snowball. So we have a good system set up right now to easily extend this to more stuff. So I don't think it'll take too much longer, honestly. Yeah, the scripted parts are going to be interesting. So that'll be the weirdest part. So doing the state machine for all that. Your opinion on Linux? It's fine. No issues with it. I've said that if I get forced to go over to, like, if the source for Windows 7 isn't released and I can't just compile it and run it myself, then and I'm forced to go over to like Windows 10, I'll just drop Windows and go to Linux. I want to see your approach to it. Yeah, I want to see my approach to it too, because I don't know how I'm going to handle it yet. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to head out. Thanks for dropping in. Share the stream, like it, subscribe, all that stuff helps me out a lot. And I will see y'all later.